So I'm in the middle of taking my victory lap on Julianna Pena, right? And you know that doesn't come very often. What have I been right? A couple times this whole year to the point you guys started calling it the curse? Julianna contacts me. Coach Rick Little contacts me, says, hey, we've heard what you've been saying about Julianna. Great job. You've got it all right, except for one thing. I said, really? What is that? They said, and one thing that I was very big on when I was recapping this fight, and I had to be very critical of Amanda. I see it in my own, I would never kick somebody when they're down. I don't feel that I'm kicking Amanda. To be critical of Amanda are opportunities that we have very unfrequently. I woke up prior to that fight believing Amanda Nunes was the greatest fight in the world. I woke up today believing Amanda's the all-time great for the women's competitions. So I feel as though I can break down this one moment, still have sportsmanship, and pick it apart. And one of the things that I did in that assessment is I talked about the fact that that submission is not a submission. The submission was not on. Julianna did not have her hooks in, which means legs. Idiots in our sport call it hooks. She didn't have her legs in. And when that fight came to a conclusion, all the people that I watched it with were looking all around at each other. Why'd they stop it? We had no idea that she tapped, only because it wasn't a submission. And that is what Julianna wanted to correct me on. She said, Chael, you're wrong about that. It is a submission. I take the bone from my wrist, I put it right on the windpipe. It will break your neck if you don't tap. I learned that submission from Demian Maia. Okay. Well, that is a little bit different than I saw, and I don't know if it really needed me to come out and give this point of correction, but Julianna and Rick Little reached out to me, so at least in their world, they did want that corrected. And I started thinking, why? What difference would it make? But it does make a difference. If a person quit and that becomes the narrative, and that's false, they had to surrender because of a technique that you did, I could see where that could shine your wheels up a little bit more. And if you do go out there and you do what Julianna accomplished, which was to frustrate, which was take down, which was to get position, and then ultimately finish was a submission, and somebody like me comes out and says, oh, no, you didn't. You did 3 of those 4 things, but she just flicked it in. I could see where you'd want that corrected, so I kind of wanted to take this time. And I actually even double-checked the story. I went to Demian Maia and said, did you show Rick Little the technique that he showed Julianna Pena? It was a whole thing. My point is only this. Incredible fight that looks like we're going to see again. The odds came out for that fight. 4-1 favorite. Who do you guys think for? Julianna Pena just finished Amanda Nunes in less than 10 minutes. They're going to rematch. The same girls at the same weight class are going to follow the same rules, doing the same thing. Who do you think is the favorite 5 days later? 4-1. Amanda. 4-1 Amanda. And there is generally a rule in fighting. It's much more true in boxing than it is in MMA. But it's very true in boxing and generally carries over to this sport as well, which is if 2 fighters compete and the younger fighter wins, if they rematch, the younger fighter will win again, only easier. That is an absolute guarantee in the world of boxing that you will not find an exception to. And when I did see what Julianna was able to do, Julianna's whole mindset going into this fight, that she told everybody, anyone who would listen, and there was a lot of people listening, she said, I'm going to take her down and she's never going to get up. Now, Julianna did not do a great job of looking for takedowns. But when she did look for one, she executed, she did finish, and Amanda never got up. So as much as you do believe that Amanda is going to learn from that fight, she's going to know what she's going to get herself into. She's going to be able to pace herself differently. She's going to respect and know what to expect a little bit more. I agree with you. That is true in rematches, historically speaking. But you're missing the point that Jules learned too. You're missing the point that Pena also, regardless of outcome, gets to take away things within the performance. I think one of those things I just identified. She went for 1 takedown and she got it. She's batting 100%, but it took her 7 minutes to go for that 1 takedown. Probably looked to her to do it a little bit quicker. And I will reflect back to the night that Rose was able to get the jump on Joanna Champion. They ran that one back to fix everything so Joanna could go get her belt back. Rose beat her again. So I'll let you guys decide. 4-1 seems very disrespectful to me. 4-1 based on what we just saw, and the world willing to put their money where their mouth is and say, we don't think it should have happened the first time, and we definitely don't believe it can happen a second time. I think that's interesting. I have no other point. I wanted to amend a statement I made. Jules has never lied to me before, and she claims that this was a hold that she had learned over the years from watching and studying Damian Maia. So I want to amend that. And I just want to bring it to your attention. If you think 4-1 Amanda is the wrong direction, you might want to get over to DraftKings right now.